Listen, y'all, we are live. Okay.
All the
It's
way,
about
all the
to
way
be
live.
fun. Oh, welcome, good people. Come on in, and let me share this to my page. You know the drill. Just a second. Give us a second. I can
You
make
think I can share it to mine too while we talk?
sure. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
let me see. I think I can tag you in it also. It should tag you. So come on in, y'all. Let us know where you're watching from. Okay. All right. So I got it shared.
Look at us. We on TV. This is
Yes.
nice. This is
Yes.
this is fancy.
So come on in, good people. Happy Wednesday. So excited to be here with my sister. Y'all don't understand. This
Oh,
is sisterhood here.
yes, indeedy.
Okay, so we're going to give it about one more minute because I want to make sure we have the full time tonight to have this discussion. Hey, Ayo, welcome. Because we're going to talk tonight. So as soon as my clock says 8:02, we're going to get started.
That sounds like a good time. I have a friend. Her name is Jamie. I don't know if she's watching, but she always talks about angel numbers. Do you know about angel numbers?
Uh-huh. Yep.
This is a new concept to me. I'm excited about angel
Yeah,
numbers. So
it's
she's always pointing out because her birthday is 9/27 and mine is 9/28. So
okay.
anytime we either one see we say angel number.
Uh-huh. Yep. All right. So my clock says 8:02. So we are going to go ahead and get started. So welcome, good people, to another episode of Relationship Talks. If this is your first time, I am your host, Siobhan Carter, the You Relationship Coach. And what that means is I am passionate about all things concerning relationships, especially the relationship that you have with yourself. And
Mm,
tonight, I have the pleasure of being joined by my sister, like seriously, my good
yes.
girlfriend, who I have known since our Florida A&M days, honey, back when we were dancing in the dance, dancing and doing our thing on the dance troops and all of that good stuff. And then we reconnected when I moved here to the DC metro area, and we have been journeying together ever since. She is a beautiful soul, just a bright light that I believe this world definitely needs. And it has been a pleasure to journey with you thus far, and we have some more journeying to do for sure.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
so
Ah,
thank you, sister, for coming on. So why don't you just introduce yourself to the people, let them know a little bit more about you and what you like them to know.
well, first, Siobhan, sis, I have to say thank you so much, even just for the invite. This is
Mm.
amazing. I am so proud of you and happy for you and all that you are bringing forth in the blossom that is you. It's just exciting to see, and it's exciting to be a part of. So, yeah, I mean, what can I tell you, lovely folks? My name is Danisha Martin. My family calls me D. They
Mm.
call me Niche. They call me Danish. My husband calls me Babe. You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah.
answer to a lot of different names depending on who's calling. Um, in life, I think what you said really resonates, Siobhan, because I do feel like I have a light to
Mm.
share. And, you know, I'm one of these odd people that doesn't mind being happy and doesn't mind sharing that happiness with others. I don't enjoy complaining and grumbling like some people do. You know, I like
Right.
the opposite. I like being happy and excited about life. And I
Yeah.
remember growing up and people saying that that was kind of corny, but I think it's starting to get in fashion now. So I'm glad that it's come around to be
Right.
happy.
It's
Yes,
such a gift, right? A precious
it
gift that
is.
this world needs. Yeah.
It is. It is. So I guess I'll the easy delineation is that in my day job, I am a matchmaker. I'm known as the Mission Matchmaker in my day job because I work for a firm, shout out to Nonprofit HR, who I
Yes.
love. It is a Black woman immigrant owned firm.
Come on.
And girl, that
Mm.
part. And even my supervisor is a Black woman. And it's an exciting time to be a part of an HR consulting firm that's led by Black people.
Nice.
And with everything that happened over the summer, our business it's just booming,
Wow.
it's booming because organizations have understood for the umpteenth time that if we are
Mhm.
not centering and amplifying Black voices and people of color and marginalized people at work, we're going to lose a precious part of our workforce. And so,
Mhm.
all that said, our work is solely and specifically with nonprofit organizations, so mission driven organizations. And so
Nice.
one day I was just kind of chatting with my coworkers who have really become my family.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's like you're the mission matchmaker, like you're this executive search consultant, but you like match mission driven organizations with the right executive. And it just
Wow.
I was like, the mission matchmaker, that's me.
Yes, that's
And
you.
I just loved it. And it also kind of resonated in my personal life because my whole life, Siobhan, I've been a connector. My
Wow.
whole
Yeah,
life.
you
I've
have.
always done that. You can, it's like,
Yep.
oh, you need a hairstylist. Let me tell
Right.
you about this hairstylist. And oh, you needed this. Oh, let me tell you about, it's just like
Yes.
I enjoy connecting people with whatever it is that they seek. I don't
Yeah.
know why. It just makes me happy to see someone get what it is that they said they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, so here I am. And I put the hashtag, the Mission Matchmaker, out on a few platforms just to see
Mhm.
what came to mind for people. And almost
Yeah.
nobody got it that it was about my job. Everybody immediately was like, oh, she's a matchmaker.
She
So
gonna
I
hook
was
us up.
like,
Right.
right, she can hook me up. So then I
Right.
was like, well, it's not a lie
Right.
because I do have a very long-term, loving, successful relationship under my belt in my
Yeah.
matchmaking repertoire,
Yeah.
and I put that out on social media. I don't know if my girl Candace is watching, but Candace and I also met at FAM.
Uh-huh.
And, long story short, she came to visit me when I was traveling abroad.
Mhm.
And what started as just a chance meeting between her and a friend of mine that I had made while I was traveling ended up into a 15 plus marriage,
Wow.
15-year plus marriage, and two boys.
Wow. Wow.
So, and they credit me with bringing them together because, again, I heard what one was saying, I heard what the other, and I was like, they need to meet.
Know somebody. Didn't
I
know. Yeah.
need to, y'all need to. Oh,
To connect.
yeah, but what I love about it is I didn't have to do anything. I just had to make sure they were both in the same room at the same time,
Yeah.
and just a little nudge. And sure enough, by the end of that first meeting, Kevin slid into my text DMs like, "What's up with your girl? She is
I know.
gorgeous." I said,
Come on.
"Yes,
Come on. Like
yeah."
that's the reception I was looking for.
That's
Yes.
exactly it. But if he hadn't, I wouldn't have pressed it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Because that's,
Mhm.
it's not
Yeah.
the mission match pusher. It's just,
Right. Right.
we're just gonna bring you together and just
Let's
see.
bring it together and see
Yeah,
what happens. So
that's
some
it.
circles. Yeah.
So I
So
think I digressed like 5 times. So tell me what else you
no,
want to know.
it's fine. It's fine. We're good. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we delve into the Mission Matchmaker and what you do and how people can be a part of this and be a part of the matchmaking process. So I just want to hear a little bit about your journey. So you have been matched with the love of your
I've
life.
been
So
matched.
just tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that and how that came about.
Well, I love that you said with the love of my life because
Yeah,
that's literally how I introduced my husband. Now, I will
yeah.
say he's very private. So I
Mhm.
have been given a set of instructions on to keep this very high level. But what
Okay.
I
Yeah.
what I what I have to share, which I think is just to use the old school word, is just
Mhm.
neat, is
Yeah.
that the person that I matched, that I just
Mhm.
told you about,
Mhm.
Candace, who married the love of her life as
Mhm.
a result of a match that I almost accidentally made,
Mhm.
she was in the room when I met the love of my life.
Come on.
So I
Wow.
have to tell you this story. And
Okay.
the backstory is just that like most of us,
Hmm.
love is hard.
Yeah.
You make a bunch of missteps. You think you got it. You think I've been married, I've been divorced.
Hmm.
This was a second time around story for me.
Hmm.
And I was really losing steam. And I had literally just said, I'm not going to deal with dating. I'm just going to work on me. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to, do my salsa dancing like I do. Cause y'all know I'm a fancy black folk. I
Yes.
like salsa dance. And
Yes.
I have my hobbies and I have my church. Shout
Yeah.
out to Zion Church. And I have my friends and my family. Like I'm good. And if I
Hmm.
meet a guy and he's nice, I'm just going to be friends with him. That's it. All I'm interested in is just friendship.
Right.
Because, if something does work out, you'll want to be the friend of your spouse anyway. So if I
Right.
focus on that, then maybe whatever's supposed to happen will happen naturally and I won't have to work so hard for it. It seemed
Right.
like when I was working so hard for it, it was just turning out horrible.
Right.
Just,
Hmm. Yeah.
So that was my mind frame when I got a call from my good girlfriend, Candace,
Yeah.
who on one wintry night was like, girl, I need a break. Let's go dance. And it
Yeah.
was January 16th, 2016.
Wow.
Okay.
It's cold
I,
outside.
it's cold.
Hmm.
It's not even that pretty snow, Siobhan. I'm talking about that nasty, black,
Mm-mm.
brown, mushy, soggy snow.
Wow.
So my answer was no, girl, you go ahead. I'm good.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that's all you. Go ahead.
Hmm.
And she was like,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go with or without you. And something about how she said that, it was kind of like the FOMO set in, like the fear of missing out. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
you gonna go with or without me? And
Right. What
so
if something happened?
after I hung up the phone, I said, gosh, I think I'm supposed to go. So I called
Mm-hmm.
her back. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, where are you going? And she said she was going to this little place to see one of her favorite DJs who was in town from Philly and all this and that. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know anything about that DJ, but my girl is a music aficionado. So I was like, if she says it's going to be good and she want to go out on a wintry night and she want to fight hell and high water to get to this place, I'm in.
Right.
So we get there, my afro was popping. We have dinner. We have a few adult beverages. We're
Right. Because
catching
the
up.
world.
It's a good
Yeah.
vibe, right?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, two guys walk in, and one of them ended up being who is now the love of my life. But it was so unassuming, Siobhan. We were just
Wow.
there, cat, 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 chit chatter, chit chatter.
Mm-hmm.
He may or may not have asked for my number. I may or may not have given it to him. It wasn't a big deal to either of
Right.
us.
Right.
But then when we talked on the phone, it was like, well, that was a really fun conversation. I think I'll call him again. And then it
Yeah.
was like, well, she was cool. I think I'll invite her over to my sister's barbecue. And then it was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, that was really fun. I think I'll invite him to go, dance house music with
Yeah.
some of my other girlfriends. And the next thing you know, 3 months in, I'm like,
Right.
oh man, I think I love this guy,
Right.
So then we got engaged in 2017, and it
Yeah.
was a wonderful engagement story. And
Yeah.
then we got married in April of 2018, and it's been
Yes.
3 years.
And it was a beautiful wedding. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for saying so. I personally think it was
Yeah.
an epic day.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, so I just wanted the people to hear about your beautiful story, because this is not something that you're just doing for other people, but you are experiencing, being
Yeah.
matched with the love of your life as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I have to say, I'm glad you brought that up because
Mhm.
when you like go see a movie that is just so, so good, and you think of
Yeah,
the exact person who, if they saw it too, they would be so inspired or they would freak out because it was such a good, scary movie or whatever. And you're like,
yeah,
no, 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 you have to see this movie.
right.
Or you catch that sale and you're like, no, girl, for real, like
Got it
before
right.
Saturday, because the sale's over Saturday, you got to get. That's how I feel about love. It's like
Yeah,
now that I have the real thing, I'm
right.
like, no, no, for real.
Right, really. You got
No,
it. You
you
got
have to
it.
just.
I get it. I totally, totally get it. So tell us about the Mission Matchmaker. What is matchmaking
Yeah,
about and how does the process work? And for those watching, if you have questions, if you're curious about anything, if you want to be one of the people that she considers, in this matching process, please comment. We would love to hear from you. We want this to be an interactive discussion. So yeah, all
yes.
right. So tell
I'm
us
so
all
glad
about
you said that because I'm definitely open for all questions. So let me first say this: I am not in any way certified to do this. at
Okay.
all. I have zero
Mhm.
credentials. I have
Mhm.
gone to zero training. Now, in my heart of hearts, I happen to think that when I'm finished being the mission matchmaker in my day job, this could
Mhm.
actually be a viable profession, like
Yep.
profession
Yes.
for
Yes.
me as a quote unquote retired person. But here's
Mhm.
the funny thing, after the mission matchmaker term came to me, I met an actual matchmaker.
Wow.
Yes, it was just the
Okay.
most odd thing. Like, I'd never met a matchmaker before. I've
Mhm.
never even watched that show. I think it's called The Millionaire Matchmaker. I never
Uh-huh.
even watched
Yep.
it. I watched one episode and I was like, but it didn't resonate because it wasn't us. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And
Exactly.
I love all the cultures. I really truly
Yep.
do. But at the
Mhm.
time, it didn't resonate with me because I do think there are nuances to dating within different racial groups and cultures and
Mhm.
whatnot. But the
Absolutely.
matchmaker that I recently met was
Mhm.
a black woman, Nigerian
Mm.
descent, out in
Okay.
Seattle. And I thought, now
Mm.
that is interesting. And so
Yeah.
she and I are talking a little bit, and I told her I might want to be your intern just so I can see what a professional certified matchmaker does. But let me
Mhm.
tell you, the best way for me to answer this question is to tell you what I do in my day job and
Okay.
how it translates to what I now do for fun. For
Nice.
fun,
For
ladies and
fun.
gentlemen.
Got
For
it.
fun. There's no money or dollars spent or incurred by way of my services. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But what it is, in my day job, I get what's called a job prospectus, or I develop one
Mhm.
based on discovery, which is a fancy way of saying conversation, with
Okay.
an organization who is looking for an executive. So let's just
Okay.
say Siobhan Carter Inc.
Mhm.
is a nonprofit who likes to pamper homeless women. I'm making this up,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
And that you come to me and say, I'm on the board of directors, I'm the chair of the board, and our executive director just retired. And we
Mhm.
need an executive director, and this is how much we can pay, and this is the description of the job, and can you help us? And then I
Mhm.
will talk to you, I'll talk to the balance of the board of directors, I'll talk to your staff, I'll talk to external partners who fund your operation, and I'll
Mhm.
find out what are the most important things I need to know about the ideal candidate who can do this
Mm.
job and do this job well.
Listen, this
Okay.
sounds so good.
Are
I'm
you are
tracking
you
with you. I see
tracking?
how
Are
I'm
you tracking?
tracking.
Okay.
Yes.
So the thing that is so funny is when I'm in my flow at work,
Mhm.
I always use the analogy of dating.
Yeah.
And I
This is
say,
the same
because
thing.
it's right there. And I say,
Right.
you may have to kiss a few frogs before you meet your
Mhm.
prince or your princess. And
Right.
what I mean by that is, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of different people who I believe embody the salient points and the most valuable and impactful pieces of your
Mhm.
perspectives of this job.
Now let me ask you this question. So
Yes.
with the people, so when you have this prospectus and you're seeing what they're looking for, do you already have a pool of people that you can pull from? Like, yeah. So you already have
Great
people in
question.
mind.
Yes, yes, and no. So depending
Okay.
on, so there's a term in my world called the purple squirrel with the polka dot tail, or some people
Okay.
may say it's the purple unicorn with the polka dot wings. And it's
Mm-hmm.
basically saying that sometimes people come, so glad you brought this up. Sometimes people come with this scroll length list of things that they say are all important.
Ah, come on. Come on.
Are
Because
you tracking with me?
I'm tracking with you.
And
Yes.
so I'm saying now, all of this is well and good. However, this is not going to be Superman, Superwoman. It's not going to be Jesus Christ come down to be your executive director. So,
Right.
given that there's no such thing as the perfect candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, somebody.
Yes. Come
There's
on.
no such thing as the perfect
The
candidate,
perfect candidate. Uh-huh.
and there's no such thing as the perfect employer
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or the perfect job or the perfect organization, because all of
Mm-hmm.
these entities are made up of people, and people are not perfect.
Right.
So that's a whole word right there. But
Yes.
anyway, given that that's the circumstance, tell me how you're prioritizing what you actually need. And then
Mm-hmm.
from there, I do have a pool of candidates that matches that. And in
Mm-hmm.
addition to the applicants, meaning candidates who see the prospectus and the announcement and then go out and look for that job and apply for that job and raise their hand and say, me, pick me,
Mm-hmm.
I also slide into the DMs of candidates who are happy on their job. Now, I don't do that with matchmaking. I'm not
Okay.
going to talk to
Right.
people who are
Right.
in a happy relationship. But what I'm
Right.
saying
Right.
is, if I know of someone who is single
Yeah.
and whole and open to
Yeah.
meeting people, even if they didn't raise their hand to meet someone that I might have
Yeah.
announced by my
Mm-hmm.
different ways that I announce people, I'll
Mm-hmm.
still approach them and say, hey, are you open to any introductions?
Yes. Come on.
So I say all that background because it really is analogous to what I am doing in this
Yeah.
very new, very fun,
Yeah.
very adventurous
Yeah.
moment that I'm having on social media, where periodically, and I haven't even gotten it down to like a day. At first I was
Mhm.
thinking maybe it'll be asking for a friend Fridays. That's what I call it, asking for a friend, right?
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think I'll do asking for a friend Fridays at least once a month, if not twice
Okay.
a month. I don't want to wear people
Mhm.
out, but at least
Mhm.
once or twice a month. And on asking for a friend Fridays, what you can expect is to hear the overall profile of two
Mhm.
guys and two gals. And
Oh, this is
basically,
so intimate.
yes. So basically, this is who they are on a very high level. It's completely anonymous, okay? And this
Mhm.
is who they are on a high level, and this is who they're looking for on a high level. If
Mm.
any of this sounds like you, or if you yourself would like to be a feature in a
Mhm.
future asking for a friend, then slide into my DMs and let's talk. And so the very first time I did this, Siobhan, and
Mhm.
I promise you, it was one of those in the moment. I didn't plan a script. I was just like, you know
Mhm.
what? Let me click
Let
live.
me do it. Right, because
Right.
I saw the live. Yeah, I was like, really?
I
I had
know.
no idea.
And I
Yeah.
had no idea how it was gonna blow up. Sis,
Okay.
it's like the DMs was like, girl, feature me. Girl,
Are you
this is what I'm looking for.
serious?
All these bullet points. This is what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Boom, boom, boom. This is who I
Yeah.
am. Boom, boom, boom. And so what I'm
Wow.
in the process of doing now is creating a very basic form, likely through
Okay.
SurveyMonkey, where you
Okay.
can go in and answer some questions so that I
Mhm.
have an idea of, across these different characteristics, who is
Mhm.
it that you're looking for? And then across these characteristics, how would you describe yourself?
Now, let me ask you this because you mentioned it with your day job, how an employer can come with a long list of things that are very important to them and are number one
Mm-hmm.
priorities, all of them at the same time. So that also translates into dating, where people come with this long laundry list of things that they want in a mate. So, how do you handle that? Like, do you have to have a conversation with them? Do you just like, okay, or do you ask them like you do on your day job to prioritize? Like, how do you do that?
So here, this is a good place for me to go back to the analogy of what I do in my day job. So there's such a
Mhm.
thing as called a full search, and there's such
Okay.
a thing as called a partial search. And so
Okay.
the difference between the two is a full search is I'm going to, with white gloves on,
Yeah.
carry this search engagement
Hmm.
all the way across the threshold. I'm going to make sure that the rings have been placed on each other's hand, which in my
Hmm.
day job means offer letters have been signed and
Okay.
executed properly. There's
Hmm.
a transition plan in place. There's an
Hmm.
orientation and onboarding plan in place. Like this thing
Hmm.
is signed, sealed, and delivered with a T. Okay,
Okay.
delivered.
Hmm.
That's a full search.
Okay.
A partial search is I'm going to get you a really strong pipeline of candidates, a
Hmm.
strong pipeline of finalists, and
Hmm.
then hand that over to you because
Got it.
you're going to do the difficult work of the dating. And in my day
Mm-hmm.
job, it's you're going to interview them yourself. You're going to do the reference checking. You're going to do the background checking. But I'm going to lift for you a short list of viable candidates based on these priority goals that you've shared with me. And so that is a good way to think about what I do versus what maybe a matchmaker who is a professional or a certified person might do.
Hmm.
I don't even know, to be honest. But what I anticipate is that they would work with you until you're in a committed, loving relationship. For
Got it.
me, I am not with you that long. I am
Okay.
with you long enough to do some light consulting so
Okay.
that you have an understanding of where you may
Hmm.
reconsider some
Okay.
of your what you think are have to haves. Like, does he
Hmm.
really have to be 6'4"?
Right. Is that really important? Because
Is
what
that
if he's
really? Because what if he
5'11"?
is 5'9", but
Yeah.
he could be the love of your life,
Right. Right. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, I did not look anything like what the love of my life thought that I might look like, and vice
Uh-huh.
versa.
Right, right.
And
Mhm.
furthermore, now 3 years in, we both look different than we started out looking.
How about that? Huh. So
So
it's like you come with
yeah,
all these things
you
and
come
not
with all these things you
realizing that
think.
we evolve. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So all
Yeah.
that said, um, I will work with people within a time frame to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, here's some things that I noticed with your list. This is, this is what I'm thinking is most important to you, but don't let me put
Mm-hmm.
words in your mouth. What would you say are the top three, no more than five things that you
Mm-hmm.
really, really have? And then I'll go about the business of making a few introductions. And if there's
Mm-hmm.
nobody who raised their hand, and if
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find anybody, then I'll just say, okay, it's been about a month and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen what I hoped. So, let's move on. But if somebody comes across my purview,
Yeah.
then hey, and stay looking at my social media because I might feature someone that you
Mm.
say, that's me.
That's it. You're raising my
That's
hand,
me
right?
right there. I put me on the short list for that
Right.
brother that you just described, right?
So wait, so speaking of brothers, so is there a healthy balance or nice balance of men who are also interested in being matched with someone as well as women?
Yeah, that's a
Because
great
sometimes
question.
I think about, oh, the women want to sign up, but the men are like, I don't
You
know.
know
So,
what is so funny, sis? So I don't disagree with anything that you have said, but what I've
mhm,
also noticed is that for the women that say me, feature
uh-huh,
me,
hmm,
when I approach my single guy friends and say, hey, I'm doing this thing, it's all fun and games, but who
okay,
knows, it could be a chance for you to meet
right,
somebody. Are you open
right,
to a few introductions? They never
right.
say no. They never say no.
Okay, got you,
They
got
never
you.
say no.
Okay,
And I have had one or two guys that have
hmm,
said, hey, you could feature me. But
okay,
I think that in general, it's going to be the women that want to be featured. That's my
right,
hunch.
right,
Unless I get a couple guys to stamp it and say,
hmm,
it's fun, just try
yeah,
it. Because
yeah,
sometimes I think love and matchmaking and that kind of talk is
hmm,
a genderized thing that,
yeah,
is skewed toward women.
right.
But we ain't dating ourselves, brothers.
We are not.
So
Mm-mm,
listen.
mm-mm.
So
And
speak up.
you know what I like what you said in the video. You're like, I'm not, what you say, you said, I'm not trying to help people find love. You're like, that's too dramatic. I just want to connect people, to, right. Just, hey,
That's
meet this
all.
person and
Meet this
just,
person.
and
And
that's it.
because this is the funny thing. Have you ever been at a party and all of a sudden you see your girlfriend and you see
Hmm.
your boy and you're like,
Yeah.
and then you kind of drag her over, come get a drink with me. And you walk over and you be like, oh, Lisa, meet Sean. Okay, bye.
Right.
What I'm doing in the virtual space. Like,
That's
oh,
it.
Lisa, meet Sean.
Right.
Bye. In fact,
Right.
this is what you can expect if you're matched.
Uh-huh.
So I would slide into the DM of both parties and I
Uh-huh.
will leave a voice text so they can
Oh,
hear the excitement in my
okay.
voice. And I
Okay.
say, hey, Siobhan, girl, how you doing? You know who it is. Listen, I just wanted to link you up with Paul.
Hmm.
Paul is the brother that I was telling you about. Now, I'm going to get out of y'all's way. You have each other's IG, or if I'm on
Right.
Facebook, you have each other's Facebook, or look, if I'm
Yeah.
in LinkedIn, you have each other's
Yeah.
LinkedIn. So
Uh-huh.
y'all take it from here. But
Uh-huh.
I wish you nothing but fun and talk to y'all later. Boop,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it. That's all.
Y'all
That's it.
grown.
Right. What you do from there is on you. I will not be responsible for anything that happens after that.
Or anything that doesn't happen. I had one
Yeah.
one good friend of mine say, girl, he didn't call. I said, well, did you call? But
Right.
I said, but, and I'm like, no, I approached him and said, would he be open to introductions?
Mm-hmm.
So you might have to say,
Hey.
hi,
Right.
great to be introduced to you. Let me know a
Right.
good time to talk at least, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And
At
I
least.
trust me, I get it. And this is a good time to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers, I love y'all brothers, but brothers, if you are not interested in dating or hanging out or meeting someone new, don't sign up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't say yes, you want to be introduced, because
Mm-hmm.
it's all everybody is coming out of their comfort zone. We have COVID, the
Right.
Rona, we have all this
Right.
stuff. People are just now starting to feel safe enough to get back out and about.
Right.
Meeting people virtually is hard enough. Like,
Mm-hmm.
be courteous enough, and not just guys, girls too. Like, be
Mm-hmm.
courteous enough to close the loop if you're not interested
Yeah.
anymore. Be courteous
Yeah.
enough to say, hey, I thought I was into it, but I'm not as into it as I thought I would be. Whatever, say
Yeah.
something to close the loop. Because I
Yeah.
did have a situation where somebody left a friend of mine hanging, and I was kind of like, you will
Oh,
never be matched again,
listen.
first of all.
Absolutely. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's not cool.
yeah,
So yeah. So let's be mature about how we handle things and
that's
close up
right.
things. Communicate. It's okay,
Just communicate, that's all.
Right. Yeah. So
So,
let's talk about some pointers. So two people have been matched, right?
yes.
And they are going out on, an introductory meeting.
Yes, we'll call it an exploratory
An
outing.
exploratory outing. How about that? Yes, yes. And so they're just trying to get to know each other. What kind of pointers would you give, if they were watching right now? What would you say to them? What are some fun things that they can do to keep it light and fun,
Yes.
and get to know each other?
I love that. And you just gave me an idea that maybe I need to make a little question bank or something so that people,
Mm,
especially not my extroverts are going to have a ball, but
right,
sometimes it is an introverted situation. If you match two
right.
introverts, it might be a bit of a struggle. So they
That's
might,
gonna be, yeah,
yeah, they
real
might
quiet.
enjoy having a few tools or a few games,
Hmm.
icebreakers, things like that. But one
Yeah.
thing I would say, just high level, is approach it like I'm going to meet a friend,
Okay.
literally.
Yeah.
Because and I'm coming from the place of when I reflect on when I met my husband,
Hmm.
I had already decided I'm never dating again. Like in my mind, all
Hmm.
the pressure was off. I
Yeah.
was not going there saying maybe my husband gonna be up in this party,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was guilty of that kind of behavior before
Right.
this phase of my
Hmm.
life. And
Hmm.
so, if you find yourself at the gas station pumping gas and you look over and see somebody fine, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you're picturing yourself walking down the aisle with them,
Right.
you might need to back up
A little bit. You
a
don't even know
bit.
his name. What's his name? Yeah, yeah,
So and guys do some of that too,
yeah.
So
Mhm.
we all need to just take a
Right,
relax and
right.
say, I'm going to meet potentially a long-term friend.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
That
it.
is
I
it.
love
And
that.
so
Yeah,
that way you bring your real self, you bring
yeah,
your actual sense of humor, you bring
yeah.
your wittiness, you bring your
Mhm.
quirkiness, you bring your inquisitiveness, you bring your vulnerability to
Yeah,
a level, don't get
right,
too deep, but
right.
be open, be fun, be ready to have a great conversation with a new person, with a human, and make a human
Yeah,
connection.
yeah.
um that's what I would say. And I would also say, to my ladies, and I hope this is received well. Don't
Mhm,
go showing all your assets to the
mhm.
date.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
do that, ladies. Don't go advertising, because trust me, he gonna see what he want to see
yeah,
anyway. I
yeah.
mean, the brothers, they got the X-ray vision. If you go with a hoodie on and some cute kicks and a nice pair of leggings or something, he gonna say,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay,
They
size
can see.
check."
Right,
Yeah, they can see.
right.
You
Yeah.
don't have to. You don't
It's
got
a
to do that.
message, right? It's a
It's a
message. So it's like
message.
we have to be intentional about the message that we want to send. Now, if that's what you want to, that's the message that you want to deliver. Okay. All right. Be okay with whatever comes with
With
that.
whatever comes with that. But I also,
Yeah.
I'm going to go a step further, because I do believe in freedom of choice. But I'm going to
Mhm.
say, really, if that's the message that you want to deliver, stop delivering that message, because I don't want
Mhm.
people to get hurt. I don't want
Mhm.
women to hurt themselves by what they
Yeah.
put out there, and I don't want
Mhm.
women getting hurt by
Mhm.
men who have trouble with those kinds of boundaries.
Got it.
And I really just want to say that, like,
Yeah.
from a loving place, not from a
Yeah.
place of judgment, but from a place of,
Mhm.
let's protect each other, let's
Yeah.
protect
Yeah.
ourselves, and let's
Mhm.
let's let's do the right thing by one another. Yes. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
Because we can
Got
be
it.
cute and be
We
covered,
can be cute.
And look
Listen.
at
Yeah.
you with your
Okay.
covered
Cute.
self.
With
Yeah,
all the
cute.
way. Right.
So those are some tips. And then I would
Got
just
it.
say, be prepared, men and women, to step
Mhm.
out of your comfort zone and step in terms of follow up. Like, it's
Mhm.
okay to take some time during that meeting to say, how do you prefer to communicate? I'm a texter. Do
Mm.
you like
Yeah.
that or not like that? Like, I'll never forget my love of my life.
Yeah.
First time we met and we exchanged numbers, and he said specifically, I would really appreciate if you gave me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm a texter.
Yeah.
But the next day came and I gave him a call because
Mm-hmm.
I follow instructions. So
That's what
I was like, okay, he said give him a call. So I actually
right.
do. And it was weird
Uh-huh.
because I don't call anybody but my mama, you know?
Yeah. Me too.
And so, right. So I called and the first thing he said was, wow, you actually
Hmm.
called.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that
that's
set us on a
great.
30-minute conversation about why calls are
Uh-huh.
important to him
Yep.
and so on
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And it was so interesting to me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, never thought about it like that. I'm, 1 foot in millennial and 1 foot in Gen X. He's
Right.
all the way 2 feet in Gen X. So that was
Okay.
like something that we
Good.
talked out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So talk
Yeah.
about that. Do you enjoy the DM life? Are you a voice texter? Are you voice to
Mm-hmm.
text?
Yeah.
Do you like a phone call from time to time? Will you get irritated if I only text you? That kind of thing. Just clear the air with that because I have noticed that there's some misunderstandings early on when one
Absolutely.
party will be like, all they do is text, or the
Yeah.
other party will be like, they acting so busy. Well, did you know that they are a firefighter?
Right. Right. And what
They are
comes
on
with that?
call.
Right.
They
What I
cannot answer every
appreciate
single phone call that you make.
exactly. But what I appreciate about what you said about just going in it like you are meeting a friend, because it takes the pressure off of the situation and it takes that attachment out of it. I'm not so
That's
attached to
it.
an outcome. I'm just enjoying, this present moment and being open to whatever happens, and I'm not, trying to get him or her somewhere. I am
That's
just
it.
being and we're existing together. And that's very challenging, I will say, because we are taught so differently when
That's
it
it.
comes to meeting the opposite sex. We are taught to go in with an agenda, maybe
That's
whether
right.
it be consciously or subconsciously. We're taught to go in with your agenda. He or she has to check all these boxes
Yep.
so that you can get somewhere. And I
That's
think
it.
that's the challenge that we have when it comes to relationships because we're not taking time to build that foundation
Yep.
because that requires self-control. It requires like slowing down. And we don't always want to do that. Like I've been guilty of it, but I understand the importance of just really taking our time. Yeah.
Take your time, young man. Mama used to say, "Don't
Right,
you rush
right.
to get." It's that's what it is,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
glad that you pointed it out because I remember when I was in my journey toward marriage, or so I thought, and I
Mm-hmm.
was being super uber pressed, and having older people say, "When you relax and aren't looking for it, that's when you're going to meet them." And I
Yeah.
was like, that don't even make no sense.
I
especially with name it and claim it and
know.
intention, be
Mhm.
intentional and all the
Yeah,
messaging that you get. And I
yeah,
think that there's a place for that down the
yeah,
road once both
absolutely.
parties have acknowledged that there's something here.
Yeah.
Um, then from there, you say, okay,
Mhm.
what is our joint intention?
Right. Mhm.
And then you get your plan and you get your agenda and what have you. But
Yeah.
leading up to that, I think we got to relax a little bit, not be aloof
Right.
and not closing loops, not that
Yeah.
kind of thing, but
Mhm.
just, hey,
Just
we're out
be.
here getting to know folks.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
So I
and
think,
it's also okay, in my opinion, it's okay to
mhm.
say, what kind of relationships are you open to now
Yeah.
or down the road? Because
Right.
there is such a thing as a guy who just is not. I'm not looking for marriage. There's a such thing as a
Mhm.
woman who's not looking for marriage. There's
Yep.
also a such thing as a guy who is 100%
Mhm.
intending that his next major relationship is the
Mhm.
one in which he'll propose to that woman.
Right.
And there's
Mhm.
also such a thing as a woman who wants to date with the intention of
Mhm.
becoming a wife. And
Yeah.
we should not be afraid to put those intentions out on the table.
Right. Right.
We also should not be afraid that that can change at any given moment. So when I met the person who is now the love of my life and my
Mhm.
husband, if he had asked me, what are your intentions? I would have said, my intention is to get really good at being a really good friend to
Nice.
anybody who comes across my purview. But
Mhm.
I would not have said my intention is that a year from now I'll be engaged and a year after that I'll be married, even though
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's back to what you said. It's just communicate where you are and
Yeah.
know that we all reserve the right to change our mind.
Yeah. And it's something that you said too. What I love and what I used to say all the time is just learning how to relate human to human. So this isn't a person that I'm trying to get something out of. This is somebody that
Oh,
I am
yes.
just looking to relate to. Like, let me find out more about you. I'm curious. Let me get curious about who you are, and then from there, it may blossom into something, it may not, but it just takes the pressure off.
It
That's,
does. It
yeah.
does. You know what's so funny? I recently made a friend,
Mm-hmm.
which I haven't done in a long time because I think it's
Mm-hmm.
hard once you're a grown up to make
Yeah.
new friends.
Right.
But she is such a dear friend, and
Mhm,
it's like when we met, and we met through work.
mhm.
And so I literally, like, the first few months of knowing her, had never even met her in person, but
Yeah.
the connection was so strong and so real. And when
Mm,
I think about how we ended up crossing that line from coworkers to friends so quickly,
mhm,
it's
mhm.
because we were both so curious about the other.
Wow.
We literally, like, really, I never met anybody from Denver. Tell me what
Yeah,
Denver is like. And then
yeah.
she got to talk all about Denver. And then it was like
Wow.
her asking me, really, you used to live in Europe? Tell me about that. Never
Yeah,
met anybody. So
yeah,
within weeks, it was like, that's my girl.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you put that to the opposite sex, or same sex, I don't match
Mhm.
same sex because I don't know that world.
Okay.
But I'm very, very supportive of love whoever
Mhm.
you love, and I want to make
Right.
sure that that is known. But I also
Yeah,
wanted to say, like, I'm a fish out of water with that. I don't have a
right.
network of people, of rainbow community folks.
Yeah, uh-huh, yeah.
But all that said, it translates to romantic relationships because people want to
Mhm.
be around people who are interested in them and who are
Yeah,
interesting. But
yeah,
if all you're worried about is this going to be a thing, then you
yeah.
you suck the life out of that curiosity process that makes people naturally attracted to one another.
Right. So let me ask you this question while we're talking about this. So, because you and I have been able to evolve to that space, when you were in the dating world and before you got married, and then me where I am. And so how would you say you got to that point? Like, how do you release all that you have been taught and just shift your perspective to, like, I just want to go in and just develop a friendship? How does a person
Yeah.
do that?
Now, I don't know how a person does it, but I know that what
Mhm.
happened to me is I fell
Okay.
flat on my face.
Got it. Yeah.
It was like once I came, the old folks say, once you come to the end of yourself, baby. It was like that. I was like, oh, this is the end of myself. Okay,
Yeah,
nice to
yeah,
meet you. End. So
right.
I literally fell flat on my face after,
Mhm.
an attempt at love and marriage that was really painful, quite frankly.
Yeah,
And we aren't going to get into all that, but I think a lot of
mhm.
people relate. And whether it
Yeah,
was marriage or whether it was just a relationship or a
mhm.
rejection or whatever it is, and then you kind of have to take inventory, like, okay, let me dust myself off.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
and then when I did take inventory, I realized, okay, I'm guilty. I was
Mhm,
definitely a little eager beaver there. And
mhm.
I think at the time, mid 30s, and you're thinking, oh, it's got to be this one, because I'm
Right,
getting
right.
old and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all this
yeah.
stuff. And at the
Mhm.
time, you don't realize you're still a baby child. I just got off the
Yeah,
phone with my 86-year-old grandmama. She looked great.
yeah.
God willing, we all
Mhm.
got a little time.
We
So
do. Yeah.
after that moment, I was like, I think it'd be best if I sit my behind down for a minute.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
as I
yeah,
sat my behind down and went and sat in
yeah.
time out, that's when I came up with, I'm gonna learn how to be a good friend.
Yeah, right. Like, I just wanna try something different. Right, that's what I hear. Okay, got it. Because what I have been doing is not working for me. So,
100% is
yeah,
broken.
right. So why would
Yes.
I continue in the same cycle? So, let me
Yeah.
think.
Let me,
Let me try
what is the
something else.
most opposite that I could do
Ah,
from what I've been doing?
yeah.
Just friends. Okay, let's do that.
Did you know what that meant? Did you even know
No,
what that looked like?
let me tell you how awkward I was. I would meet people and I would have a speech to give,
Okay.
honey.
I
And
think
my
I
speech,
remember this speech too.
girl, the speech was like, hi, I'm Danisha. Nice to meet
Yeah.
you. And then
Uh-huh.
if it would feel remotely like they were trying to like run game or whatever,
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, that all sounds very lovely, but I'm only interested in being friends. So if that's not something that you're open to, I totally understand and respect your boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had given the speech to Mr. Martin, and he was like,
Yeah.
don't be a Bama, just give me your number.
Like, look, we're not gonna do all that.
I am not here for the speech. I didn't
Right.
ask you to marry me. I asked you for your
Right.
number. I was like, oh, here you go.
So funny. Oh my gosh. I asked that question because I remember when I was younger, my mom used to say it all the time. Learn how to be friends with a guy first. I'm like, I've known him for a month. We're friends. What? Like, what you I don't understand. What does
Right,
that mean?
right.
I don't get it.
But you know what's funny though? It's like it's a condition of the heart though,
Yeah.
because you can be a friend in a
Yeah.
month. You
Yeah.
totally can. But
Yeah.
if your heart is telling you, girl, this might be the one, and girl,
Right.
da, 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 girl, da, da, and
Exactly.
in your
Yeah.
mind and in your heart, you've already walked
Hmm.
down the aisle with them and all of this,
Yeah. Hmm.
then they can feel that energy,
Yeah.
and it is
Yeah.
tainting and changing the dynamics of the friendship, relationship, what have you.
Yeah.
And it's not just women to men. Men do this to women all the time as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely.
Um, Sometimes about commitment, sometimes about marriage, sometimes about sex.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I think on a heart level is where I had to check myself. Like,
Yeah.
you have to turn that thing off that's making you feel like you are in a rush and anxious and have no time, and turn
Right.
the thing on that says, what is that human connection? Because
Hmm.
really at the end of it, it's like, did I want to be married, or do I want to feel like, there's somebody out there that really cares for me, that really loves me, that I
Right.
really love, and I can have all
Yeah.
those things without marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely can. Yeah. So it's like what am I looking for? What am I searching for? And just really getting clear about that. And one of the things
Right.
I like to say with me being the you relationship coach, like how can I create the thing that I am looking for within myself so that I can, be a friend from a space of overflow, and not
That's it.
because if I go to the grocery store and I'm hungry, I want to grab everything
Every
in there.
daggone cotton picking thing.
Everything, right?
I
But
don't
if
even eat
I've
pork
already
rinds.
eaten,
What I got pork rinds in my
why do I have a
basket?
taste for all of this stuff? Because I'm hungry. I didn't eat today. But if I go in full, I'm only going to get what's necessary for me. And so I
That's
think
right.
it's the same thing when we're connecting with other people. Like if I go out into this world of meeting people and
Yes,
I'm so hungry and thirsty for attention and, affection and all this stuff, I'm going to get a whole lot of stuff.
a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, but if I come with my cup full as much as I can,
Yep.
and I go out from looking at it from a different lens and perspective, and I can start with friendship because I'm okay,
I'm
So,
okay. I'm good. And you know what's so funny? People who are good are
mhm.
so attractive.
Come on,
It's
come on,
like, it's just a certain something, that je ne sais
yeah,
quoi, that
yeah,
zhuzh. It's like
yeah,
you want to be around them. You know,
yeah,
because you sense that they're full and whole and healthy.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
who doesn't want to be around that person?
right, because it's relaxing. You're not
It's
looking for it.
relaxing.
You don't. Oh, it's okay. So we just gonna have a good time and laugh, and that's it. Listen, I want more of that,
I
So
want more of that. You know what? Let me
yeah,
call so and so, see if they want to go to the barbecue.
right.
It's just like
Yeah.
they're constantly on your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some good stuff. Oh, I love it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff, if you are interested in being a part of this process. So what if somebody is watching and they're interested in connecting with you and being, matched with someone, what would they need to do?
Okay, that's a great question. So the first thing is they will need to either link in with me on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
They can find me easily, Danisha Martin on LinkedIn, or they will need to slide into my DMs on IG, at that's Mrs. Martin on IG,
Okay.
or they will need to slide into my DMs on Facebook. And on Facebook, I'm just Danisha Martin. I think. Oh, Danisha Nicole is, if you put it in, Facebook.com/ Danisha Nicole.
Hmm.
And if we're not already linked, I'm saying they need to link in with me first, because I have to get to know you a little bit,
Right. Just a little
So
bit. Yeah.
yeah, because really essentially, because my networks on social media are pretty expansive, like on
Mhm.
Facebook and LinkedIn combined, I have over 10,000.
Wow.
So somebody in there want to meet you,
Right. Yeah. Just one
somebody,
at one. Just it.
right? Just one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
IG, I'm kind of starting to build followers, so I think I
Okay.
have approaching 2,000. But
Mhm.
so initially, it started as my existing circles is who I'll be matching, and that was my
Okay.
thing. It's like all these people, I know somebody in here need to meet
Somebody. Right. It's gotta be something.
anybody,
Yeah.
right? And no, chances are, if you're watching this broadcast, because I know you, we're already linked, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if it is a circumstance where we're not, let's get to know each other a little bit. Nothing
Yeah.
too crazy, but just let me get
Right.
a sense of who you are, what you're
Yeah.
about, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. And
Yeah.
then if you want to be featured, I'm putting my list together so that the next time I do Asking for a Friend Friday, this
Yeah.
might be you to be featured, or make sure you follow and subscribe and all that good stuff, so that if
Mhm.
you hear somebody being
Right.
featured that
Yeah.
you want to be introduced to, then you
Yeah.
can slide in my DMs and say, hey, the person that you described who you said this and this, I want to
Yeah.
meet that person.
Listen, I just want to sit back with my popcorn and watch this play out because I think it's going to be so much fun.
So
I
much
cannot
fun.
wait to see just like what
How it all
happens.
unfolds. I
Yes,
know. And who knows, when we have some successes, maybe people will be willing to come on to your show and say that they met. And
please, please, just to inspire other people, like try different things. Because I hear a lot of people say, "I don't want to do online dating and these
right.
apps and all that kind of stuff." So here's another way.
Here's another way. And this is the
Yeah,
thing, Siobhan. Back in the day, I mean, I didn't do it, but there was
right.
Jack and Jill,
Yeah,
and there's cotillions and all these different things. And
yeah,
even just your old school auntie of the neighborhood putting
right.
people together. And then certainly from an ancestral standpoint, we all know that
Yeah,
culturally, matchmaking is a thing. That's what people
it's
do. I
a thing.
mean,
Arranged
so
marriages,
arranged marriage and all of this
Yeah,
stuff that is still going
mhm.
on to this very day. So this
It
is
is
just a lightweight,
very light.
informal,
Mhm.
fun,
Yeah,
no pressure. For
free.
now,
Yep, for
free.
now.
For
Yep,
now,
for
free.
now.
For now, service,
Limited
right?
time,
For
right?
a limited time.
Yeah,
Because why not? I mean, what else are we doing? I'll tell
yeah.
you. We are not out and about like that. We do a couple
Mhm.
more things than we were doing in lockdown, but not a whole lot. And I
Right.
think there's a
Mhm.
lot of people who are still in that bucket, vaccinated or not,
Mhm.
just kind of like, let
Right.
me wait and see.
Right. Let me
So
just
it could
see
be,
that.
yeah, let me
Mhm.
survey the land. So it's
Mhm.
nice to have an outlet, something fun and entertaining and
Yeah.
potentially flourishing, right?
Yes, yes. So listen, I love it and I look forward to it. I'll probably check in with you to see how it's going and
Please
just
do.
we may come back on and be like, girl, so how's it going? How many people have connected?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So thank
Well,
you so
can I
much.
just say though, I just have to say, I know this
Yeah,
is a little out of order and off topic,
that's all right.
but Siobhan, I'm just
Uh-huh.
so excited for everything that you are into. I really am. I mean, it's really exciting just seeing your creativity
Yeah.
and your compassion
Mhm.
and just the overall bossness of it all, you
I
know?
appreciate that. Thank you. Listen, I receive it all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I am. I am. This is such an exciting platform that you have built
Yes,
here. So keep
thank
letting
you.
me know how I can support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jennifer says she's ready. Hey, Jennifer. Yes. Yes. That's one of our good
Look,
girlfriends. So
well, let
yes,
me just
honey.
say, if
Mhm.
somebody's watching this or watching the replay, I know quite a
Mhm.
bit about Miss Jennifer, and she is a
Yes. Yes,
phenomenal
she
sister.
is.
So
Yes, she
she's
is.
going to be one of my very next features on Asking for a Friend. So you don't want to miss the mark on that. So if you want to go
Yes.
ahead and slide into her DMs and get a survey of the land, then
Yes.
you'll be ready to say, "Me, please
I
introduce
know,
me to Jennifer."
I know that's right. Because she's a beautiful lady. I love
Yes,
her. Love
indeed.
her.
My
So
goodness.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for your heart of just having a desire
Oh,
to connect people, to bring people together for whatever purpose, happens after that. But I think you definitely are a connector, and I'm glad that you are following just your God-given gift and just walking in that space. So yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, it's funny. Have you ever heard of Clifton Strengths or the Gallup Strengths?
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I did mine not long ago, and in my top five is connector.
Yep. Yep.
So I was like, I was
That's
gonna be a recruiter or a matchmaker anyway. So
exactly. This is what you do.
it's
So
what I
I think,
do. It's what I
I think,
do.
yeah, and I think that's the gift that you're going to bring to it because it's into it. It's just you. It's a part of
Yeah, there's
who you
an
are.
intuition
Yeah,
about it. Like, oh,
yeah,
you know who? Ooh, ooh.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so it just
Yeah.
you pulled those pieces together. So I think that's a gift. So yeah. So thank you, sister. I
Good.
appreciate
Oh,
you.
thank you, Siobhan.
Anything else in these 5 minutes that you want to share with people? What are you up to? What's next for you?
You
All that
know,
good stuff.
yeah, on another note, and I hope this isn't too shameless of a plug, if you
Do it.
are in the nonprofit space
Hmm.
and either one, you are a potential client, in other words, looking for a new staff leader, director level and above, please consider nonprofit HR. In fact, you can check us out at impactsearchadvisors.com, which is
Mm,
the newly launched website of the search function of
mm,
nonprofit HR. So, nonprofit HR does everything human resource related in the
mhm.
nonprofit world. But the search function, in other words, talent acquisition, recruiting function, is kind of pulled out because it's so robust in and of itself.
Mhm.
Um, we do a lot of different kinds of searches, but I am an executive search consultant.
Okay.
So anything director level or above is fair game for me. So that's on the client side. On the candidate side, though,
Mhm.
if you yourself are looking for your next career adventure
Yeah.
and you're already a nonprofit professional or thinking about transitioning, do
Mhm.
not be bashful. Find me on LinkedIn under Danisha Martin,
Mhm.
and I'm listed as the Mission Matchmaker, so you'll know you have the right person. And
Yeah.
introduce yourself. I would love to get to know you. I may not have a role for you today, but getting a chance to know you now, when that role comes up, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to partner with them. And I would say the only other thing I'm working on is, so quick and shameless plug. I
Yeah.
no longer sell products. I used to sell products.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Mhm.
Ma'am, I used to
Yeah.
sell all kind of products. That's another story for
Yeah.
another time. I don't sell products anymore, but I have been introduced to the wonderful world of affiliation. And so what I
Mhm.
love about affiliation, if you are watching this and don't know what that is, you don't sell anything. You just simply use a product, and if you love it, then you make sure that your social media partners, connectors, followers, what have you,
Mm.
know about that website where you can get that product. And then
Okay.
the company just slides you a little bit of coin
I
as a
love
thank
it.
you for any orders that come through by way of your
By
affiliate
way
link.
of got it.
Right.
I love
So
it.
there's no parties, there's no
Yeah.
inventory, there's none of
Yeah.
that. You just, hey, I'm using this. These are the results. And I'm
Yeah.
doing this because the product is skincare and I absolutely
Yeah.
love it. So I'm
Yeah.
not wearing a stitch of foundation.
Mm.
I'm wearing zero makeup powder of any kind. This product is called Natural Radiant Light and it is amazing. It's a whole
Mhm.
skincare line, body care line, exfoliation, all that good stuff. It's for
Nice.
fancy black folks.
Yeah.
And, if that's something that you're open to, it is Black owned, woman owned, and
Mhm.
it's a vegan skincare line, and
I
it's
love
popping. It's
Yeah,
popping.
love
So
it.
let me
Yeah,
know. I got you.
absolutely. So whatever you need, hit her up and she can
Yes,
connect you with whatever you need. So
with whatever you need.
whatever. So, well, again, thank you, sis. It has been a pleasure for you to join me tonight, and I knew it
Yes,
was going
it
to be a
has.
fun conversation. So thank you for that, and thank you to all of you who chimed in and just shared and just said hello and just listened. And I hope you got something from tonight's conversation. So until next time, thank you all. Be good to yourself, and good night.
Bye.